What's up, it's cinemashogun here, and I have several updates in this story coming out of Kansas City about the 3 Chiefs fans who were found frozen to death in their own friend's backyard. Now, the attorney for the homeowner, he did another interview. We will get to that in another video in a couple of hours, but for right now, I want to talk about this statement that the attorney put out, because this is one of those situations where they're coming out trying to defend themselves. They're coming out trying to make it seem as if they're innocent, and they're trying to explain away a few things, but in the process, it's making them look more guilty, if you ask me. It's hard to explain, but it's like, the attorney is coming out speaking for his client. He's releasing the statement, providing excuses as to why his client didn't know that his 3 friends were frozen to death in the backyard. And when they release little tidbits of information that are supposed to, I guess, make this guy look better or to make this guy look innocent, it does not have the desired effect. If anything, it makes this guy look a tad bit more shady, if you ask me. But I want to be clear here. We don't know what happened out there. We don't know what happened at that home. I just find it unbelievable. The family finds it unbelievable. I think a lot of you probably find it unbelievable that these 3 grown men just froze to death in this guy's backyard, and he was there for days on end, refusing to answer the door, answer calls, or answer text messages as their bodies laid in the backyard with snow just constantly falling on top of them. But let's go ahead and dive right into this statement. On behalf of Jordan Willis, I am issuing this press release in hopes of setting the record straight regarding the tragic death of his 3 close friends. Jordan had absolutely nothing to do with their deaths. He does not know the timing or manner of their deaths, nor does he know how or when they exited his house. He had no knowledge that they remained in his backyard or that they needed medical attention. Had he known, he certainly would have called for help. The last time he saw them was when they left his house and he went to bed. All right. We got to go ahead and pause. There's more to this statement, but we have to pause right there. Did any of you all notice a problem? Did any of you all notice a problem with what I just read? I'll give you a second to go ahead and drop the comments below. Here's the problem, folks. In this statement, he literally says that his client did not know when they exited his house. Okay? The attorney says that his client has no idea when they exited his house. And then he goes on, literally like 3 sentences later, and says that the last time his client saw these 3 individuals was when they were leaving his house. How does that make sense? My thing is, like, you're an attorney. This isn't some random dude off the streets, okay? This isn't a random hillbilly. This is an attorney. And this is the best you can do in your statement? My client has no idea when these 3 individuals left his house, but the last time he saw them was when they left his house. What? So it's little things like that, and yes, it's small. And maybe some people may think I'm being nitpicky, but it's little details like this that really stick out. And they really start making you look at this whole situation sideways, because if you're telling the truth, then why does it look like you're lying? Because if you're telling the truth, you shouldn't be contradicting yourself. Yet right here in this statement, this is a thought out statement that was put on paper. and you didn't even notice that the information you're providing is conflicting with the information you provided in 2 sentences above? Oh, he has no idea when they left the house, but the last time he saw them was when they left the house. All right, okay, I guess there's nothing weird about that. Let's go forward. Prior to being contacted by police, he did not receive any phone calls or text messages from friends or family members of the deceased. 2 people came to his house. However, he did not hear them as he sleeps with earbuds and a loud fan. Hold on. The family has already stated that they called this guy and messaged this guy, and that the guy was reading the messages and he didn't write back. Now, knowing that these people popped up at that house, I would assume they probably called first. Before you would assume the worst, that your husband or your brother or your son is frozen to death in someone's backyard, you would make a couple of phone calls. I would assume that before they popped up at this house, they probably messaged and they probably called. But the attorney's claiming, oh, no one really called or messaged him, but they did show up. Let's go forward. 2 people came to his house, however. He did not hear them as he sleeps with earbuds and a loud fan. One of those people, the wife of one of the deceased, tried to reach him via Facebook Messenger. Unfortunately, he did not see this message until after the police contacted him. 2 of his friends parked their cars on the street, and there were no cars parked in his driveway. Jordan did not notice the cars in the street. However, it would not be unusual for his friends to have left their cars there overnight. All right. So he says that his client, he couldn't hear anything because he's got earbuds in and a loud fan. Yet when the police arrived, this guy automatically heard it. So you didn't hear any of the phone calls. You didn't hear any text messages. You didn't hear any Facebook messages. You didn't hear multiple people show up at your door. You didn't hear a woman actually break into your house. But as soon as the police knocked, all of a sudden you heard it. And let's remember, folks, when he came to the door in his boxers, earbuds in, with an empty glass of wine. Now, what does that tell you? What does that tell you, folks? Now, if you're dumb, if you're a pea brain, you would think, oh, maybe that guy, he was messed up. He's in there drinking wine. He's in there with his earbuds in and his boxer shorts on. He has no idea what's going on. He's probably just got done drinking and binging. Folks, that's obviously what this guy wants you to think. If the police knock at your door, at the very least, you put a pair of pants on, right? If the police knock at your door, you take the earbuds out. Let me see what's really going on here, right? If the police are knocking at your door, the last thing you do is go to the door with a wine glass, all right? Now, if he showed up at the door disheveled, maybe showed up at the door trying to struggle to get a robe on, to get some clothes on, the story would sound more believable to me. But it looks like he was putting on an act. I'm going to go to the door with my earbuds in, my boxers on, as if I just got out of bed, and I got this empty wine glass to show you guys that, oh, I'm drunk and inebriated too. I have no idea that there's 3 people frozen to death in my backyard. I mean, come on, people. Do you really open your door for law enforcement in your boxers with a glass of wine and earbuds in your ear? No. No normal person does that unless you're trying to create a scene, unless you're trying to put an image in someone's head. And I believe that's what this guy was trying to do. I don't believe for 1 second that this guy was like, oh, cops are here. I didn't hear people break into my house. I didn't hear any of the phone calls or anything else. I didn't hear people knocking on my door, this whole time. But I hear the police knock. Let me rush to the door in my boxers, make sure my earbuds are in, and I have an empty glass of wine. Not even a half full glass of wine, but an empty glass of wine. He was clearly trying to put an image out there. if you ask me. But let's go forward. When the police arrived, he allowed them into his house, told them all he knew, and voluntarily consented to a search of his home. The police did not suspect any foul play, and they are not investigating their deaths as a homicide. Jordan is unaware of how his friends died like the rest of us. Jordan is anxiously waiting the results of the autopsy and toxicology report. On behalf of Jordan and his family, we wish to express our deepest condolences and sympathies to the friends and family members of these young men, and our thoughts and prayers are with them. Now, if this is a guy who really isn't guilty, had nothing to do with this, and maybe they were partying and his friends died, I feel bad for the fella, right? But is it just me? I'm not the only one, right? Like, everyone thinks this is suspicious, right? It's not just me, right? And the details of, oh, the phone, the earbuds, and a loud fan. It's 2024. Everyone, regardless if they want to acknowledge it or not, we're all glued to our phones 24/7. For the most part, you know, people don't even have ringers on their phone anymore. You check your phone so much that you just keep it on vibrate. I don't think I know anyone with a ringtone that keeps their phone on loud anymore these days. You just keep your phone on vibrate because you're going to check your phone every 30 seconds anyway. So I would assume that this guy knew that he was getting phone calls. I would assume that this guy knew he was getting text messages. He was getting messaged on Facebook and on social media. The family of the victims even say that he was reading the messages. And I'm going to believe them before I believe this guy. And as far as, oh, the friends' cars, they were parked in the street, not the driveway. You can still see it. You can still see it. And it's not like he woke up the next morning and these people were dead. There was a couple of days in between here. You know what I mean? A couple of days of ignoring phone calls. A couple of days where you could have noticed that something was wrong, but yet nothing was wrong. And it, at least you assumed that nothing was wrong. And, you know, the detail about him saying, oh, the last time I saw my friends was when they left my house, but I have no idea when they left my house. What? As a law enforcement officer, as an investigator, you should hear something like that and automatically be like, oh, wait, okay, something may be kind of off here. You know, and to be clear, like I said, we don't know if this guy killed these people. We don't know if they were all partying, they partook of some substances that maybe, you know, took their lives. We don't know what happened. But this whole little shindig of, oh, the homeowner had no idea that anything was going on. I can't believe it. I can't believe it. And it's not like I don't want to believe it. I want to give people the benefit of the doubt. But in this situation, I'm sorry. And I don't think it's just me. I think other people feel this way too. And if everyone feels this way, everyone feels this way for a reason. Because this looks really, really shady. You know, your friends are frozen to death in the backyard, but you're coming to the door in your boxers with a wine glass. I could talk about it all day, but like I said, we got more updates in this case that I'm going to be bringing to you all throughout the day in separate videos. For now, I want to know how you feel about this statement down in the comments below. While you're down there, if you're feeling generous, you can donate to the channel via Cash App. I'll have my Cash App in the pinned comment. You could also donate via Super Thanks, or for free, you could help the channel by sharing the video, liking the video, subscribing, all of that good stuff. And with that being said, I'll talk to you all very soon in the next one.